Welcome to Triple H, Hamilton Happy Hour, where we talk about pianos, talk about music, and everything else in between. Hey everybody, welcome back to Hamilton Happy Hour, Triple H. Hope everyone had a great day and a great week this week. Once again, we are back with Mike and Mike. What's up, guys?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, how's everybody going?
And we have a great guest today, two great guests. We have Lori Clutter and Mark Baughman from QRS. Say hi, guys.
Welcome.
Hi, guys.
So QRS, for those of you who don't know what the company is, they way back in the day, now 125 years ago, QRS would do the scroll players. You know, the scrolls for the scroll players, and they still do to this day. You guys are still slammed with making scrolls. It was funny because I think you said, like, even if you worked this many hours in a day, you
right. If we ran 2 shifts of our roll makers 24/7, we'd still not get caught up.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know, because here in Florida, we don't see that many of them.
Well, we're seeing a lot of this generation getting grandma's old roll player and upcycling things is something they're kind of into, putting our rolls on TikTok and other social media, and then they get other kids their age enthused about it. It's really weird. It's
A
taken
clash of eras, huh?
It's
So
like
question-
history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Question for you: do y'all have somebody that actually works on the scroll players?
We have people scattered around the country that
Any
are
in Florida that
actually, yeah.
do we?
Oh,
Okay.
we need their numbers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
because
get
we
it
just
for
got
you.
asked
Yeah.
just last week. and
Exactly.
I didn't think there was anybody left down here.
Yeah, I didn't either.
There is.
Okay.
I could say their name, but I'll just give it to you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So-
And then call us if you need to know who that person is.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's a real, like vinyl became popular
Yeah.
again.
Correct.
All of a sudden. I mean,
Yep.
we've got really nifty songs that I've never heard that are current right now that we have on roll. So
Okay, cool.
neat.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that is pretty cool. Once again, history repeating itself. It's like when you guys told me that, because the machinery for that stuff is insane. I mean, it is really insane. At the factory, it's like you just don't think about that kind of stuff, because here we don't have any calls for that. Once in a blue moon, you
Yeah.
know, and
Right.
they're always asking, "Oh, well, I need my scroll player to work," and we're like, "We don't know anybody," you know. So
Actually,
definitely-
our biggest customer is Australia.
really.
Really? Wow.
Wonder how that happened.
Don't know.
And
But-
what pianos are they? Are they pianos that came from America?
I don't really know that either. I know we ship most of our product. We ship the bulk of it to Australia and U.S.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that right?
So they put a shrimp on the bobby and
And-
listen to the scroll player.
Rank her up.
Wow.
And so Mark is actually here. The reason why they're on the podcast is because we love them, because we've been working with them for so long, but also because they're doing a training class here this week. And Mark is an instructor who is training the next group to get certified to do the player system. So how did you get involved with QRS from the start?
Kind of by accident. I have a degree from Duquesne University in video and audio production, but my father fell on some hard times, so I moved back home to help him out. And I met my first wife and kind of got anchored to the area. Well, I was managing Pizza Hut and selling insurance, just stuff I hated doing. And one of the kids that worked for me at Pizza Hut said, "They're hiring at that piano factory." I'm like, "What piano factory?" And I went out, got hired the next day. The only thing they had left was this new product called PNOScan. And the rest is history. I've seen a lot of the world because of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's a cool niche. You know, the beauty of the player system is that pianos were designed to be played. Now, you don't have to play it. It plays it for you. So it's being used. So it's a win-win, you know, where the piano's doing what it was designed for, which is to be used. And if you don't play, you can have a player system put into pretty much most pianos and enjoy it.
And
sit
it's
back.
live entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I tell my customers is okay, it's fine. You know, you don't play, but when you have a party and you have friends over, what you do is you sit down at the piano and you tell everyone, just stay over there, listen to my new song. You hit play and you're just kind of going like this. And then you put your tip jar out.
they can't see your hands, so they don't know what's going on.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And you guys also have so many cool features that go along with not just the playback feature where it plays the piano, but between recording and the ho-ho for piano lessons and the Nickelodeons that you guys have, with all the other instruments,
Right.
those things are really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the roles, so people might be confused as what we actually do now.
Besides that,
we the Pianomation system is a solenoid-driven player that it's run on Wi-Fi. You use your device, your phone, whatever.
any web-based
Yeah.
device.
So you can convert that piano into something usable. You get a lot of empty nesters. The kids took lessons. Now they have this piano doing nothing, and this gives them new life on that.
We
So,
like to tell them, fall in love with your piano again. They loved
Yeah,
it
yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
bought it for the kids, and they're gone, fall in love with it again with a different install too.
yeah.
What would be cool is to have their kids record their songs that they played
do
as
that,
children.
yeah.
Yep.
During their
Absolutely.
recitals and all that, so they could hear that over and over. And
Yeah.
over again.
Well, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had a customer, so he went to 40 different dealers all over the country. This was probably 5 years ago. And the reason why he wanted a great piano was because his daughter, she wrote her own music. She was, I think, 15 at the time. And he wanted her to record her music so that when she went off to college, he could listen to it back.
That's cool.
And so he ended up, out of all the dealers he went to in the country, he came to us and bought a 7-foot Siler with a QRS player and the record strip,
Wow.
so that he could have that.
Well, you mentioned the ho-ho, which is, a slang term for the QRS Connect.
Mhm.
What that would allow, let's say that girl's at college, she could have a digital keyboard connected to the Connect and play in real time a concert for her parents at home, which is fantastic.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how you do the remote lessons and remote concerts.
We
That's
do the same
huge.
with children's piano recitals, and maybe grandparents are in a facility where they have an area with a piano in it, assisted living or retirement center, and they have the kids' recitals perform for all the folks, and they love that. That's another.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So they can hook up to a digital piano like what we have here.
Anything MIDI you can.
Oh, really?
You can, yeah.
That's awesome.
And it does it in real time too, because
Real time.
I wasn't there. Lori was at a show. You were in California. They had a teacher in Florida giving a lesson to them at the show in California in real time,
Oh,
and that's
wow.
just like so cool.
And you can watch a concert pianist or hear, like, let's use Copeland Davis. Copeland, we installed it in his piano where he could be playing live in his home, and if you join to his concert, your piano now is playing what he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Have we done any with him yet?
I don't
know.
think so. I know we installed it,
Yeah,
but I don't
We need to
think
get
so.
that going.
Yeah, we need to reach out to him.
Yep. And Michael Feinstein, I told him about that, and he was very interested in that, but that was over a year ago, but that's a really cool feature, so that people, can pretty much go to a concert in your pajamas. I
Right.
mean, you could just be at home and your piano's playing and listen to it.
And they could do like a Patreon account or something like that, so they could announce it and have people join in.
Well, that's true. And
Yeah.
and some people just want it for a dinner party. Hey, I'm going to have a party on Thursday. Have a
Right,
few
right.
people over. Have some live music. Every man can play, or you get somebody like Copeland or Michael Feinstein. Then you want to bring in a bunch of visitors to
Sure.
that concert.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And
You
you
can
were
charge-
also
Sorry, go ahead.
you were also talking about today that now you have the trumpet where you can hook into it and the trumpet will play.
We have a player trumpet. Yes.
So which is
Very cool.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was really, really.
We were the
interesting.
hit of the CES show and the NAMM
Who was
show.
telling me-
And
were you telling me about that?
I didn't know anything about it until you showed the
I
video.
heard somebody
Yeah.
speaking about that before
It's
this
cool.
conversation.
very cool.
We
You
need to
can
get-
use
I think
any
I was
trumpet.
telling you
Need to
back
get some
there
Dizzy
with-
Gillespie and
Yeah,
with
we
Chris.
have.
Fats Armstrong.
No,
No, I was talking to Chris about it earlier.
I wasn't part of that.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean a month ago or so.
Oh, no, I
somebody
don't know.
was talking about it.
I just found out about it today, so
It's cool, huh?
yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah,
It's
it was
really
super
neat.
cool.
It was really cool.
And you also said that there's other things in the works with sax.
Well, woodwinds, we've got some things on the drawing board, but
Yeah.
all the brass instruments are pretty much covered now.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
trombone,
The ones you don't need
Tuba.
to read for, correct?
Right.
Right. That's
So
the big difference.
we're figuring out the read issue.
Okay.
We get that trombone thing figured out. You can find someone that's a huge Music Man fan, and you can sell them 76 trombones in one shot.
Well, and then the other neat thing is there's no spit.
Yeah.
They don't have to blow that spit valve.
Yeah,
Have you ever been to an orchestra and watched them
Oh,
while
yeah.
they're not doing it?
Yep,
With
the French
Oh, wow.
horns,
Yeah.
they
No, thank you.
turn them and turn them.
It's just the way that it is, you know?
So this is a no spit product.
So now my son could just be there and just have the QRS thing with the saxophone blowing into it for there and pretend he's doing
Yeah,
it.
right.
Right, yeah.
Yep, not far off for woodwinds.
So
awesome.
I remember it like it was yesterday, the first time you and I ever talked on the phone. We got along great. I don't know if you remember. I don't remember the conversation. I just remembered I was like, Lori's pretty freaking cool, you know? And then we were talking, you know, about putting QRS systems installed. And we talked and talked and talked. And then we came up there to do the class. And I was looking forward to meeting you. You were looking forward to meeting me. It was just that, you know, you just get that feeling about, I'm going to be friends with this person for a long time. Same thing with you, Mark.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, you click with somebody and you can't, you know, you wait to see them. Usually we see each other at conventions or when you guys are doing a class here. But you just get that feeling of you've known each other for forever.
Yeah, and we
I
pick
feel
up
that
right
way.
where we
Yeah.
right where we left off.
Yep.
Too. It's like,
Yep. It's like I felt so bad. So I remember at Reno convention, I saw you and Brian.
In the
Brian
line at the airport.
Yep, Lori's husband. And I don't know why. I just thought Mark's gone. You guys are on the plane, and my plane got delayed. And so I'm ticked off because I'm there, and it's like it's on time. Then push back.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I'm like, forget this. I'm renting a car. I'm driving home. Tina's like, it's 42 hours to get home. And I'm like, I don't care. So I'm just about to get into a taxi to go to the rent-a-car place, and the taxi driver's not happy about it because it's literally like a mile. And I didn't know that. He's like, oh. He's like, where are you going? I said, closest rent-a-car Enterprise. He's like, you know, because his fare is going to be low. And I said, listen, I'll just take care of you. Just get me there, you know, because I didn't know. I could have walked 10 miles the wrong way before I knew where it was. So I get there, rent a car. But in the meantime, Jude Reveley had called, and he says, hey, I'm going to the airport. My plane's delayed, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, do you want to hang out? I said, I got one better for you. I'm getting a car. You want to go around Lake Tahoe? And he's like, yeah, great. So we do Lake Tahoe, blah, blah, blah. You called me like 5 o'clock and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I think I just gotten back, or I'm at the hotel. And he's like, do you want to get dinner? And I'm like, you're still in town? Dude, we could have went around Lake Tahoe together with you. I felt so bad. I still to this day felt so bad. I think what happened was the frustration of the flight, seeing you and Brian at the airport. I just kind of thought you were already gone and blah, blah, blah. Because I would have called, dude, it would have been a blast. It would have been so much fun. So I'm sorry. So,
Yeah, but we were able to lose more money that night.
Oh, yeah.
Night together, so-
Yikes.
One extra day. That was the casino made the flights all delayed.
Yeah, yep.
Well,
They did that on purpose.
It was a good first call for you because we have valued your dealership very
Absolutely.
much.
Well, and your facility, you're talking us up, but I have been to a lot of rebuilding shops, stores.
Oh,
and
it's like Sanford and Son out there.
you've got the best facility I've ever been to. It's the most organized, creative staff, family atmosphere. I just love coming down here. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
We
Thank
are
you. It's
always pleased to
We get that
recommend
compliment
you,
a lot,
and
but we don't
do.
get tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just know you won't be here between May and October. Because of that.
I won't. You got to turn this air conditioning has to go up if you're going to do that. For me.
We enjoy y'all coming down. I mean, it's just
It's always a good time.
blast.
Yeah, it's just once again, you just have that friendship that is a bond that is unbreakable, you know, and it's
Absolutely.
I mean, we'll call and shoot the shit sometimes, you know, we do the same thing, and sometimes it's business, sometimes it's not,
Sometimes it's like 1 minute of business and 10 minutes of shooting the shit. So
right. It's like I think one time you said, well, I'm finally getting to go away for a couple days, and I'm looking forward to it, and this and that. And I said, great, Lori, I will promise I won't call you. So I went on the Trello board. And I said, do not call Lori. This day.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because we all need that, you know, because you take
Absolutely.
so many phone calls from, I mean, pretty much you're the rep for this half of the country, right?
And Canada.
And Canada.
And Canada. So
And all the manufacturers.
Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, parts of the Northwest. It's a weird setup, but
right.
yeah,
That's a
it's
lot.
busy. It's busy.
And I've never seen anybody on the phone more. I mean, she's got to be the best rep in the world because I've
Aw.
never seen.
Well,
I don't
that's-
know anybody that answers their phone like you do, and that's valuable to you, right?
Absolutely.
And the fact that you respect that she needs time off too, because some
Right.
of them don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that we're VIP with you guys, but
Yes, you are.
Cheers. Cheers.
My drink's way back here.
but it's being able to handle all that is kudos to what you can do, because that's a lot. I mean, I know what we go through in the office as far as I'm not in the office, but I hear the phone ringing, with the emails and such, but there's 3-4 people in there doing that. You're one person.
Wow.
doing
We
that.
like to say if you're working, we're working.
Right.
So,
And she is.
and you need those kits
Yep.
ASAP. So we
Yeah.
want you to.
Well, QRS is, the whole company is always striving to make sure the customer's happy, like us. That's why it's such a good fit, because one way or the other, we want everybody to be happy,
Right.
And so between your all's motto and our motto is similar,
Right.
with that. So, and I mean, it's
It's got to be a win-win-win.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you guys have been around since 1925.
1900.
You look great since
Thank
your
you.
age, since
Thank
being
you.
around
Actually, 1900, 125
Oh,
years.
that's what I mean. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. 1900. You guys look fantastic. 125 years old.
Yeah.
And my grandfather started in 55, but technically Hamilton Piano Company was like 2008 when we opened up the shop. So, but the longevity of what QRS has, how many companies in the world can say that? Really? Now you guys are doing exactly what I think a company should do, is you are always going up to the next step. You're like, what can we do? Okay, let's
Well,
do
we
the-
have to credit our CEO,
Yeah.
Tom Dolan,
Absolutely.
for that.
He's visionary.
He is. He's
Tom's a super smart guy, and he's coming up with these ideas, and he's finding the right people to try to make that stuff work. And some of it takes decades to get there.
Yeah.
That's the dedication that you have to make an idea come to fruition, because it doesn't work on the first shot. It just doesn't. I mean,
No.
not with technology. With some things like we build here, simple things. Yeah, okay, that worked out great.
Like a slow close fall board, for instance.
Hey, I did that on the first shot, and now Steinway is doing it.
Apparently.
They must have heard something.
They watched the podcast.
I think we got a spy in the shop.
Or the Z Pittman that we made today.
Yeah, right. Like for instance, I
Yeah,
was.
we did R&D today, which is really cool
Yep,
to me.
yep,
So
You wanted to do that for how long?
it's been in my head for a while, and I'm like, I know someone that'll get it done if I get down there. And God, he did it.
Yep, and so we made the Z Pittman. For those of you who don't know what a Pittman is, basically it's the dowel that goes through from the trap work, the pedal mechanics, into the damper tray for the sustain pedal to work. Well, on a player system, we actually had to make it like a Z, like this, out of metal. We had to make it strong enough. We had to make it a little dowel so it would insert into the damper tray, and then we had to thread it so that there was a nut on both sides of the trap work so that it won't fall apart.
Oh, I like that idea.
It
Yeah.
works awesome.
And it came out
It's
really
cool.
good.
We actually didn't need the nut on the bottom because it was a good fit in the
Right.
where
right.
the piston,
Yeah,
the pitman
'cause
goes
it
through
threads
the rod.
in.
Yeah.
Yep. So and it worked out. You've been wanting to do. I'm glad you were able to
Yeah,
make your
so
dreams
I
come
got pictures.
come
Well,
true today.
my dream come true would be if we can actually incorporate that into our product to make it. Have you ever had someone lose a pitman in a piano on a
Delivery?
move?
let's see.
Some,
I've lost count.
yeah, so let's come up with a method of
Yeah.
making that not happen every
Happened
time.
to us last week.
You move.
So is that
yeah.
what you just did today?
Yes.
Yeah, so I
It's
have
going
an
to add
idea
years
to take.
to my life.
Well, only if
That's
we.
one less phone call you're going to get.
So we'll make them in different sizes, and then you can purchase them.
Well, the thing is, you don't always need the Z shape.
The Z shape would work on everything. You may
Okay.
not need it, but it's going to work regardless. We made the first one and it was off. It looked good.
Oh,
It was off by about an inch. We were too
Yeah.
far back. So 10 minutes later, he comes back with another one.
Yep.
He's bending metal and tapping it. So yeah.
And I'm doing it by hand. I'm like, I don't have a bending machine, somewhere.
Yeah, but you've been moving pianos since you're 15 years old, so you
He's a
got
piano
the
tuner.
strength to do that.
Don't tell these guys that. They're like, no, he's just a piano tuner. He ain't no mover.
Oh yeah, right.
But that stuff to me is fun because you're thinking outside the box. Someone has an idea. For instance, when we had to cut the leg for the box to fit, you're like, it doesn't fit in your bandsaw. I said, yes, it will.
Yeah, you just have to fit it at a different angle. And by God, he did it. And I was like, I wish I would have videoed that because that was really cool.
I can do it again. We got more legs.
Yeah, we'll cut some legs out.
He's going to have 10 more improvements on that Pittman by the time you get back to Pennsylvania.
That's good. He can do all of them he wants. So.
But with cutting the leg, the reason how I came up with that is I saw that somewhere, and I've been actually incorporating it when I'm building something where you make all these little slits, and to get to your point. And if it doesn't fit, now you can go on an angle, cut, and then you just sand the rest. And if it still didn't fit, you just chisel it off, sand it down to get that corner.
Wonder
that
if
you
the
need.
Pittman was called that because that was somebody's last name.
Maybe.
Pittman.
Maybe
So we'll call this one
the Hamilton.
the Hamilton.
Ooh, I like
Oh,
that.
The
my.
Hamilton
It's called the
doesn't come
No,
out
Oh, my.
of
Well,
the damper
it's got to be
tray.
Mark's. Mark's the one that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
too
his idea.
hard.
Yep. It
The
was
Baughman.
Mark's.
Yeah.
Pittman, Baughman.
Yeah, it's similar.
Well, again, all of this is fun, and I'm excited that we have that little device now, that little piece. I'm really excited.
We're going to
about
push
that.
it.
But that's just, again, that's custom work that you get at Hamilton Piano. A lot of other people would say, oh, we'll just jam that up in there. If it holds, it does. If it doesn't. I mean, we get custom work for the little, it's little details like that.
10 minutes. It
Yeah.
took 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not,
A fabrication.
right. And it wasn't, we didn't have really, the only tool we had was a tap to make the threads for the nut.
And a
Everything-
grinder.
Right. And I just sanded it
Nice.
for the little part of the dowel to sit inside the damper tray. That's it. 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it can save an hour-long phone call.
Incredible.
Well, a service call. Someone having
Right.
to
Yeah,
drive
right.
out to the house, take the cover off, and put that thing back in. It's,
Absolutely.
I'm going to change subject here
Yeah.
from the Hamilton Baughman Pittman back to we were talking about the Connect. If we can send out to your listeners and watchers that if they know a very talented pianist, not a hacker that plays that thing where you roll your knuckles on the black keys, but
be me.
somebody
Me.
that they think they've heard that's an accomplished pianist that might want to be auditioned for QRS music, we're always happy to entertain that.
That's great. I actually
awesome.
would like to do that.
Would you? Do you
Would you-
play the piano?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's-
He definitely does.
I don't.
How long have we known each other?
I've never
You've
heard
never
you.
sat down
You
and
have to
played a
just
piano
do
for
the
him.
song.
Have you heard me
It's
play?
got to be just the one song.
No. You play the piano?
What? How did you not know that?
She works for QRS.
I work for
Yeah,
QRS,
but
and I
they don't
play the
need me to
piano.
play.
I don't
They've
ju-
got.
I don't hit the play button on the QRS. I play.
I hit the play button.
But we would like to. We like to hear of new people in your areas that are
Absolutely.
favorites.
And we brought up Copeland Davis a couple times.
Well,
but
yeah.
I think Copeland's,
Yeah, we would like to have.
he's on
We're
there.
working on that.
Toby, I know
Did they get it?
17,200 songs. How many do you know?
Not that many.
Sure you do. You
Like
hit play.
17,199. Oh, you want to know how many I can play? Oh, that's a different
Yeah, the
story.
difference.
You said how many
No,
I know.
Oh, you know a lot.
Really, you do play the piano?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yes.
that. Interesting. What, did you ever have a customer say after you're showing them how beautiful your piano plays, and they say, oh, do you come with the piano?
Yes.
Well, now you can say,
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, I do. We'll record you. We'll put it into the library,
There you go.
and you
Do
come.
I get royalties?
You get attaboys.
yeah.
Yes, no,
That's
you
how-
do.
that's why we pay you in
do.
attaboys.
You would get something for sure.
I would do that. I've got probably a dozen songs that I've come up with, and I would record them. Absolutely. I've had a lot of
You're
customers.
gonna come up with a lot more.
Oh, we need 12.
Yeah, 12.
That's an
Well,
album.
it's an album.
But customers, yes, they have said when I'm done playing the piano, they would love to. Oh, and I was actually going to make a CD one time, and I never did because I never had the time to do it. But I can do it here when everyone's gone and just record it and do it. And yeah, I can do that.
Got the mics now.
Yeah, we got the microphone. Well, no, it's in the MIDI.
Well, now
in
when
the
they
middle.
say,
Oh, true. Yeah.
oh, do you come with the piano? You can Say, absolutely, I do.
Yep.
Here's my file.
Yep. There we go.
That is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
As
Well,
long
we
as you
always-
buy a QRS system, yes, it can come
Well,
with it.
yeah.
Sort
We
of need
always-
that,
Yep.
right?
We always joke about the one song that he always plays for customers. And if there's one song in particular, and we always joke about it, puts them in a trance. And if he's playing that song, we go, oh, he's got him now. And they're like,
They're
"Ah,"
under
and
the-
they're
under
breaking
the-
out their checkbook. So
Under the ether.
that would work good for dealers because dealers could put that song on and it'd be selling
Oh.
pianos
Yeah.
all over the country.
Yeah, that's right.
They call it the cha-ching.
I can make a penny a song. But no, it is. It's well, that in particular is because it shows the whole range, and it is an extremely simple song to play, but it shows the whole range of the piano between the bass, tenor, and treble. So that's why I do it, and I can elaborate on it a little bit more and show the upper register range. You know, by the song's actually longer than what I play, but I played it so many times. I'm like, I'm just trying to get through this.
Well, when Brian and I got married, we said, well, we can't have one of our many hundreds of acquaintances in the music world play for us. They only know 6 measures of everything. So we'd get demo snippets. Snippets.
That's my guitar skills, like a measure or two, and then that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because it brings a story up. I don't know if I've talked about this when John Bon Jovi came in and bought the piano from us. After we had delivered it and I went and tuned it, I played that song. And he goes, what are you doing there? He walked into the office. He goes, what are you doing there? And I said, oh, I'm doing this and this and this and this. And I'm like, this is so cool. I'm showing Bon Jovi how to play the piano. This is and so I'm done. And I said, do you want to try it? And he goes, yeah. So he starts playing, and he only had 2 verses, I believe, and a few chords with it, but it was enough to give me chills. And he was writing this song. I'm sure this has already happened. It was for his daughter's wedding. That it was like an anthem for every father to walk his daughter down the aisle,
Oh,
right?
golly.
And I started getting chills, and I'm like, damn, John, how do you do that? And he goes, it's the piano. It's the piano. But it was just that experience that I had with him from the moment that. The funny thing is before even any of that happened, in the other shop, I was on the forklift and I had my electrician all the way up to the ceiling. And so Cheryl walks up to me and she goes, John Bon Jovi's here to buy a piano. And I'm on the forklift. I'm like, yeah, right. And she goes, John Bon Jovi's here to buy a piano. I said, bye, Steve.
You're gonna have to stay up there till I'm done.
And he did. He left him up there.
And super nice. So super nice. Him
I've
and
heard-
his
Just
wife.
kidding,
I've heard
OSHA.
that about him.
Just kidding, OSHA.
No, he wasn't hanging there, dangling. He was
He had
strapped in.
He had
Positioned.
a walkie-talkie that let him know.
Yeah. And so, but super nice. And he says, if the piano doesn't fit right in the office, would you take it back? We said, sure. Just you got to pay for it to come back. It fit like a dream, and it sounded very, very good because everything was all wood: the floors, the ceiling,
nice.
the walls,
Oh, yeah.
everything. So this piano sounded fantastic in his home. We had restrung it and refinished it, and made it. It was a GH1, I think, Yamaha, and and he was extremely happy with it. And then before he even I even went there, he had sent us a really cool autograph picture, and he says, "Thanks, Hamilton Piano Company, to buy us for the next hit machine."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Wow.
Fun.
Yeah, it's hanging up by the front door over there. So
That is cool.
He was really cool.
yeah.
So
Very fun.
And just but it's those type of stories too that, like, you guys, I'm sure you guys got a ton of stories.
She has more because you've been to Prince's studio.
Mm.
Okay.
In Toronto. And, we have a lot. I don't know.
Is there any in particular you want to talk about?
Okay.
That didn't take long.
So I was at a sale in Westchester, New York, at a private music, theater, and art school. And we were told there would be celebrities coming in choosing pianos. And Paul Schaefer was there picking out a piano for Stanley Tucci, which was fun, getting to hear Paul Schaefer go through the room trying dozens of pianos. And then Richard Gere was there.
oh wow.
I didn't know he was married to a Bond girl. So that was fun. They bought 2 pianos, but he was playing one of the pianos and kind of noodling on it, I'll say. And he said, I was assisting him, and he said, can you come over and play it? And I'm going to walk away and see what it sounds like from over there. I said, sure. So I nervously chomped down on something big and full. And he said, in my dreams, I play that way. And I said, in my dreams, you do.
That's fantastic.
Then we weren't supposed to ask for autographs, but I did get him to sign his delivery slip.
I need to sign this.
That's cool.
That's funny. It's like one time when I was working for the Eagles, I'm backstage. I think this was the second time I was working for them. And it was before Glenn Fry passed away, so he's standing next to Joe Walsh, right? And I'm sitting there like, oh man, I really want to ask for an autograph. I'm like chomping at the bit to do it, but their bodyguards were standing right next to them. Like, I'm not even gonna go. By the time I take one step, they're probably gonna jump me, and this and that. But just the fact that I knew that I was there, I didn't have to prove it to anybody.
Yeah.
I have that, in my head. That's all that matters to me. But I have all these autograph pictures on the wall from all these artists that my family got through the years. So like, okay, now I got to play catch up. It's like getting 5-star reviews. Who could get the more 5-star reviews? Like, who could get the more autographs? I'll never catch up to what my family got because they had thousands of them. My grandfather would crash after parties after a concert and just hobnob with everybody. Just kind of guy he was. What about you, Mark? You got any stories?
Famous people. I was at a NAMM show one time, and there's this 2 little kids walking around. They had a bodyguard with them, so there was someone important. Mm-hmm. And the one kid comes down, he noodles a little bit, and the other one sits down, he tears it up. And I was selling Schultz Pullman at the time, and Kenny G walks in. These are his kids.
Okay.
And I said, "Oh, the kid likes his piano." I said, "Maybe you want to get it for him." He's like, "He has an Imperial Bosendorfer at home." I'm like, "Okay, sorry." But that was kind of cool. And then Henry Steinway came into our booth when we were building the Hampton, and he sat down and played the piano. It's kind of cool because he had an entourage with him, and he signed the Hampton, and he's like,
I saw your picture down on a
Nice
piano
little
with
hammer.
Henry Steinway and your dad, or
It's my dad, my grandfather, and my uncle. This was taken in the 60s at a PTG dinner when people went to PTG, meetings. We can't get anybody to come to a meeting here in South Florida. So you're hearing this, guys? If you're watching the podcast, let's have a meeting. And it was Henry Steinway and John Steinway, and it said to my family, there was a big card in front of the dinner table. It says, "To the Hamilton family, best regards, John and Henry Steinway." And that was like, okay, Dad, Grandpa, and Uncle Dan, now you're making it so much harder for me, because your reputation's so good, now it's like I got to work twice as hard to get it, especially when I was 19 years old being a piano tuner. It was harder for me because I wore a tie like my family did. They always wore a tie. They were always dressed up. And I did that for probably the first 15 years. Now I go like this. It's like I don't do that many tunings anymore except for concerts. And of course, if I'm at a concert, I dress a little nicer. But it was just like, why'd you have to be so good at what you did? It made it so much harder for me because it's a reputation you're trying to live up to, And
But it gave you the drive too.
I was going to say that's why you excel at what you do, because you had to.
You took it the right way.
Yeah.
and I wanted to do something that they didn't do because for me it meant that I did it on my own. Opening up a shop. They didn't have a shop. They would work out of my uncle worked out of his garage. My dad worked out of the back of his house. And then doing soundboards and refinishing and plating and so on and so forth. I wanted to do all that stuff because my family would have to send that stuff out to get done. So if they did a customer rebuild, my dad would, they need a new soundboard. He'd send it to Cliff Gears in Ohio to have it done. My dad would meet their truck halfway. They switch trucks, bring the piano up, and he would do that. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted my customer's piano to be in my possession at all times so that I was in control of it, because you don't know what's going to happen out on the road. You don't know, one piano came back from them and it wasn't good. My dad sent it back.
Right.
You know, same thing with refinishing. Time and time again, I have gone through a lot of refinishers. Our guys are fantastic. But before that, we went through so many refinishers because I send the piano to them, and of course, it's all apart. So everything's, you know, I take piece after piece after piece, and then I start putting it together. I'm like, oh, now I got to bring this back to them. Hey, you got to redo this. We don't have to do that here in the sense that if there is something here, fix this real quick. Boom, 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 done. You know,
Right.
I gotta, you know, go back to the refinisher when his hours are open, you know, because I was usually doing it after hours, putting it together because I was busy during the day doing tunings. So we don't have those issues anymore, you know. So I wanted to be able to do something that my family didn't do just for me. I don't care what anybody thinks about me or this and that, but I think back in the day, technicians did look at me when I was just tuning like, oh, Toby's lucky. You know, he's taken over a business, a piano tuning business, because my dad was sick. He couldn't work anymore. They don't know how hard I had to work to prove myself, not just to them, but to my customers. And I can tell you stories about my customers not wanting me to tune for them, but I had to, my father and my uncle had to tell them, just give me a chance and prove that I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not a hustler in this business. I don't even like the term hustler for people that are in the business, because this is not a hustle. This is a lifetime career that you better love 150% or don't even be in it. That's just my opinion.
That's your stripes.
Right. And that is just how I feel, probably because I love it so much. It's funny. I was just at Clearwater teaching a class at the Steinway Piano Gallery over there, and it was a great facility. Their staff was fantastic. And so I bought a laptop. I'm 47 years old. I finally got a laptop, and I had to because I'm teaching this class. And so during my class, I'm showing, you know, the shop, and I'm showing things, and then I lose my tour on the laptop. And I'm sitting there, and I said, well, everybody, this is why I love pianos, because they're analog. And I'm not a digital guy by any means. So I recovered, you know, I was able to get my stuff back, but it took a little bit of time.
Right.
And the good thing is that there's a lot of editing that can be done, you know. So, but it's that part of it where pianos are, you know what you're going to get with a piano. You know when it's going to break down on you, you're going to know how to fix it. Computers and things like that, it's a whole different ball game, and that's probably just I wouldn't say my generation. It's just me. I'm not a computer guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'll jump in there and say the QRS stuff is pretty intuitive, and you always have support, and it's pretty user friendly.
Right.
So, and not a lot can foul up with it. I mean, we know what the piano's capable of, so it's just telling it what to do.
And when you install it the right way, that's the key. It's just like rebuilding a piano the right way. You have to install it the right way. Unfortunately, we see a lot of times that, you know, and it's not just, you know, with QRS, but there's sometimes that technicians install stuff, and it's like, oh, you have a story about that. I don't know if you can share it. McDonald's?
Oh. Lori, do you want to share our McDonald's?
If you can.
The North Carolina McDonald's?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be brief. They were having some issues with an older system, and the technician, this was a piano in the McDonald's in Asheville, right outside of the Biltmore. It's at the base of the Biltmore. It used to be the McDonald's at the base of the Biltmore. Anyway.
Yeah,
So-
the piano was out in the streets upside down,
upside
covered
down.
in mud last time I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the technician kept going and multiple trips. Couldn't, because he wasn't a QRS trained technician really, and couldn't get it repaired. And so we sent another QRS tech in, and after 3 or 4 trips, he got it going. 2 weeks later, the big flood.
Oh,
no.
Yeah,
And
he sent Lori a video.
It was like a
playing
soup
beautifully.
bowl. Oh yeah,
But
it was
then-
gorgeous. Now this McDonald's, you drank out of glassware
Oh, wow.
in it. They served your table.
It was the fanciest one in the world.
Yeah, we had a
Was.
player, baby grand player in it. It was a unique McDonald's there. And
Napkins and flat
2 weeks
silverware.
later, gosh, all that effort they put into.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
And all I could think is, man, if they that could have just held off on getting that thing fixed for 2 more weeks, then nobody would have gone through it. Oops, sorry.
Oh my.
All those cords hanging down don't matter now.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Oh, it was upside down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the video of the McDonald's and the piano's laying there, 3 legs sticking straight up in here.
I'm sure there were a lot of pianos lost down there.
I'm sure.
We had a customer of mine. He had a Steinway. I believe it was a Model M, and it during one of our hurricanes, I think it was about 2 decades ago, out the 39th floor of his condo, into the pool, completely demolished.
Wow.
Oopsie.
Yep. And he was Mr. Dudley. Remembered his name. Super cool guy. He ended up buying one from us, and we rebuilt it for him. And but yeah, it was heartbreaking to see something when you see a piano that is demolished and all over the place, or seeing it upside down. It just doesn't look right. It's like even when we put a piano upside down on our flipper, it's like we're doing it and it's safe and it's protected. It just doesn't look right.
No, it's wrong.
Was that on Singer
what's wrong
Island?
with this picture?
Was that on
Yes.
Singer Island?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you ever
I
get
remember hearing about
customers
that.
that say, I'd like to buy a piano, but we're due for another hurricane in a couple years? Do they?
No.
No.
Good.
It's just part of the deal down here, so you can't really live,
Mm-hmm.
with your guard up against them. It's either going
That's
to happen
good.
or it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
We deal with the repercussions afterwards.
People don't really talk about hurricanes until June when it's hurricane season, and really not until about August, because that's when it starts to vamp up.
That's when the water's gone off the shelves.
Yeah. But the thing is I think the thing with the storms is if it didn't happen to them, they're like, what is this? For instance, I think there was the last one. We were supposed to get a lot of stuff, and you guys ended up getting this stuff, and we didn't.
Yeah, we wound
got
up with
nothing.
3 tornadoes ripped through my neighborhood.
Oh, my.
EF3s. It was just
And that last storm was unprecedented because those tornadoes, there was 39, I think, in total.
Yeah.
We did have some about 5 miles west of us, big ones, and one that traveled a very long path. But we did have those, and that doesn't usually happen. Like the extent that we had with that one. That was scary.
Yeah, we were down in what was it, Surfside?
Yeah, Miami, basically.
Yeah.
Miami
And
Beach.
we were on the 48th floor of a condo, and my wife's calling, freaking out, going, when are you going to be home? I can't talk to you. I'm at a job. But she's like, well, there's tornadoes ripping through the neighborhood right now. I said, there's nothing I can do.
You don't have basements here either,
love
do
it,
you?
honey. No.
Because you're on slabs, yeah.
No, the deal for us down here is they always go to the central part of the house, closet or
Which she
bathroom,
was,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
No, sit under the piano, right?
don't sit
you
on the
could.
piano.
Probably
No, if
could.
you want to be
They're
crushed, they flip them over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what you could do is anchor them down like they do on yachts, and just
There you go.
and hide underneath that and hold on. But that was unprecedented, Now, we actually have from Hurricane Milton that hit the West Coast, a Bosendorfer Imperial that all the way up to pretty much to the top, almost to the top of the lid, the water came in. So 2.5 feet just about. And it sat for very little time and then went out. Kudos to Bosendorfer because that piano is salvageable. And we are going to rebuild it. We're going to do a video on it. We're going to do it from start, everything, start to finish.
Excellent.
So we
The
can.
soundboard still looks good on it.
Yep.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have a meter to read the moisture content that's in the wood, and it's only at 5%.
Wow.
That's where you want to be. So this thing, that lacquer held up really a lot. But
Excellent.
and I checked the rim. I checked inside. It's 5%, and so that's really good. Now, also they had when you guys went and picked it up, it had dehumidifiers inside.
Yeah, so this guy's house was literally on like a point on the water. Yeah, he had his boat dock was 15, 20 feet from the piano, kind of.
Wow.
So the water rose up to that level throughout the course of the night and then was receded by morning. It was all the way out of the house. Everything was wet, of course, but yeah, so that water came all the way up, and the guy rode it out with his son. They were in the upstairs.
Wow.
And all that was going on downstairs, and next morning it was gone.
Well, that's excellent. You're going to be able to fix that one up.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's because we had from Hurricane Ian, we had a Bohemia and a Steinway come in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were to the point. Yes, you could repair them, but whole new keyframe, all new keys. I mean, you would have had to done so much work to the piano, and unfortunately, the customer, she just couldn't do it. And
Well,
I said,
Her and her father also were on top of the pianos trying to, and they were actually airlifted from their house because of how high the water came. So those pianos actually helped them survive basically the
Handel's
hurricane.
water music.
So
There you go.
but it's it's unfortunate. Now they did save the plate. We took
Correct.
the plate out for them because it had a signature on it, right, or something with the plate that why they wanted to keep it.
I think they wanted to keep it and make it into an art piece or something.
Yeah, it was something with that piano. So we took
And
it out
auction
for
it
them.
off or
Sure.
something like that. I
Mhm.
think that's what it was that they were going to do with
Yep.
it.
So,
Cool.
but
Very cool.
pianos. Our job as rebuilders is to bring the piano back to life. But it also depends on who owns the piano. It's like when we do a rebuild job, we recommend everything that needs to get done, and you pick and choose what you want to do. Now, there's sometimes, like for instance, there was no choice. Everything had to be done, and it was going to cost X amount of dollars to do. The Bohemia, was another one that was like,
We still have the shell of that one.
we still have the shell of that one because we figured, and the plate for that one.
We have the
We had the plate,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
Because we figured, because the case was a beautiful case. It
Oh,
was
it's
mahogany,
gorgeous.
right? It was really
Like
beautiful.
a reddish, yeah.
Yep. So we figured eventually that case of the piano is going to be, as a shelf or something, unique that we can do with it, like we've done before.
Yeah, like we've done for, what was it, Lionel Richie? Where we can put a
Keyboard.
Digital
keyboard,
in.
digital keyboard into it.
Or you flip it up,
Yep.
make a bookshelf
Right,
out of
we've
it
done that
or
before.
Yep,
something.
we've done that as well.
We did that to a piano for a customer. It was a Chickering, and she didn't want to. She wanted to rebuild it, but the cost was too much. So she goes, "But I love the piano. I've had it forever." And I said, "Well, what we could do is turn it into a bookshelf." So that's what we did. So we put it on its side, and it has shelves. So you have the curve going like this. We took the legs. So the part of the legs that go to the bottom of the piano like this, we've reversed it. Now that's going to the bottom, and we attached it.
Oh, neat.
To the shelf, right? So it was a good foot for 2 feet for the piano to stay on. We put a backing on it. It was actually kind of tricky to do because the piano is not symmetrical in any way. So it's like trying to get a shelf like this and get it to match that curve and make everything level, and then put the back on. But we did it. It turned out great. We actually have pictures of it. And she had I think it was her ex-husband, actually put glass doors in front.
Oh, fun.
And it looked really, really
Well,
sharp.
there's no other piece of furniture. I mean, we know a grand piano's a wonderful instrument. Even crappy ones are nice. But there's no other piece of furniture like a grand piano. The shape, I mean, anybody who walks in a home, they're drawn to it, right?
Yep.
So
I think I'm in the wrong house.
Yeah.
if you can upcycle it into something else,
right.
it's even interesting that way.
Yeah.
But they are stunning pieces. Of
Absolutely.
furniture.
It turns a house into a home.
Yeah.
It gives character. There's so many people that when they buy a home, the first thing they do is buy a piano to put in it because there's something about the shape of the piano.
Right.
It's just something that,
Unique. It's very
Right.
unique and classy.
Yep. The keys and the curve are like, mwah,
Right.
it's just
Right.
one of those
They're
things.
gorgeous.
I will say that at one time someone said, "Oh, they're all just pieces of wood to me," and I said that was the worst thing you could have told a piano rebuilder.
Have a seat, gal.
Yeah, they're not. They're not pieces of
I remember
wood.
I remember that customer.
And it's not. That's not the case. I mean, if you know what went into the piano and all the people that, especially back in the day, in the early 1900s, all the hard work that they did, especially the Louis XV legs and the different ice cream cone legs, and all that was all done by hand. Okay, they didn't have CNC machines back then, so they did it by hand. And seeing all that stuff, there's there's something to it. You know, the nostalgic part of it, to see, you know, what people took a pride in what they were doing, and it's like, it looks like a CNC machine did it, because it was so precise, because they really took their time.
Do you have someone on your staff that hand paints grain?
Oh, we can. Yeah. Yep.
Because I've seen some where the Steinway C, for example, with that funky curved leg, 85 note something, where the leg got butchered somehow, dropped, whatever.
Earhart's done that, hasn't
And
he?
they did a new leg on machinery and then hand painted the grain on it.
Yeah. Yep. You can do that.
Yep, that's fun.
Yep.
Have you ever? So you're talking about the leg that kind of goes like this,
That's
right?
the one.
Okay. Have you ever seen the people that put them on backwards?
Oh yeah.
That's horrible. That's like even just a
They
look
got
at the
Really?
piano.
a knock-kneed piano.
Yeah, it's like the piano's walking backwards. I mean, it's just a leg. It just doesn't even look
Oopsie.
right.
Or when they put the back leg on one of the front legs.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
You have a piano tipped like that.
Yes, that's always
I
fun.
tell him he can't do that because all the notes will run to the one end.
Well, and two, when you have, you know, there's some pianos where the third leg is longer than the others. And I have gone into a customer's home, and it's only that much. But I've gone into a customer's home, and I looked at the piano, I'm like, someone put that third leg on the
Or
number
how
2
about
spot.
in an
And
advertisement?
I've had to go out and fix it.
How about in an advertisement or on a TV commercial or something? You'll see a piano and the fly lid's
Yes.
down on it.
Yep.
It's like,
Or the
they
prop stick
props
is in the wrong.
I know. I'm always like,
Are you kidding me?
Or they took a reverse picture of the piano, so it's
oh,
all
it's all
backwards.
backwards. Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
Why is the lid opening on that side?
And they're trying to sell this $1 million condo with the
Yeah.
piano. It's like, don't you just know? No, people
Yeah, they don't.
No, they don't know.
You know, when they have, it's like I had a customer. This was like last week. I just remember, and she goes, "Oh no! I fold the lid back to open the lid." She goes, "No! You have to keep the lid closed, and then you open it to put the prop stick in." And
Oh
I'm like,
dear.
"Okay, so you're adding more pressure to the prop stick by doing it that way. You want it folded back because you're adding weight to this side of it, right?" So I said, "You have to you fold this back and you do this way." Oh, but something as simple as that. And some of the times when they put the prop stick on the wrong notch, that can slip out so easy, and that's why those break so easy, because people don't pay attention. And the difference of the weight can, depending on the piano. I mean, a good piano, it's not going to happen.
Well,
to
and you
but-
better hope no one's by it and gets it's a
Yeah,
mousetrap.
yeah. And we
Absolutely.
always caution everybody and have that conversation with them, although I've never seen it happen.
One of our
But I
colleagues who's retired, it was like kind of his personal mission in life to go on Craigslist, and anytime he saw one like that, he would contact them. You're going to get some kid killed. It's a mousetrap. You got.
It's like a mousetrap.
Well, it
right?
kind of cracked me up that was his big concern. But he
Well, I do like looking in commercials and ads and like seeing music notes back ass words and
it's like
Well, when that slow lid or the small lid is open, it's putting so much stress on those screws. On that
right.
little tiny hinge.
Yep.
I mean,
oh, it's just wrong. Plain and
It
simple.
is wrong.
It
all the time.
looks wrong. It
And
is.
it's probably
People don't
why we
realize.
see those screws get stripped out so much. It's probably that piano sat like that for a long period of time.
And the beauty of the piano we were talking about 5 minutes ago is all taken away when you don't open it up properly, It
But
just looks
do
like
you know the percentage of the population that notices that stuff? Because it's us.
it's, just us. It's 5 people.
Most piano players don't even know.
my fiance and my daughter are like, really, Dad? Because every time we say, I was like, that's wrong. They
That's
can't
what
do
the
that.
roadies are for. Right?
Right.
But it's just funny, the way that you see things. And there was something too. I can't remember what it was, but I'm looking at the piano. It was either on a commercial or something. I'm like, that is so wrong. That is just so wrong. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like that made no sense. And then you have the people pretending that they're
Oh, I
playing
know.
the piano, and it's just like they ain't playing
Not.
the piano.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they should put a QRS system in there and at least fake it better that way.
like the Super Bowl when I was watching it, John Batiste was playing. I looked at Katie, my wife, and I was like, you know whose piano that is? Is Justin Elliott's? I said, absolutely. Because of the legs that he's formed and everything. So she's like, really? I said, yeah, that's one of his designs.
Yeah, Justin's a real cool guy. We've been working with him for the last couple years, doing this jazz cruise every year. So it's we bring 5 C7s from Yamaha. We put them on the jazz cruise, move them around over a course of about a month, and then take them off. And they just got picked up today to go to Tennessee. And Justin, if you ever seen the Bosendorfer that has those red legs that are kind of
Oh, yeah.
that's his work.
Ah.
Yeah.
And so
Was this just the jazz cruise that just finished back in maybe a week or two
Yeah.
ago?
Yep.
With Chris Bodie was on
Yes,
that
yep,
one?
yep.
Oh, dang it. We were going to go on that one.
They do it every year. This time
Let
of year.
Lori know when they're going to do it again so you can
Next
give her
year.
a heads up.
Yeah,
man.
next
Oh,
year.
absolutely. Next year.
I
We
can
do
talk
it
to-
every year.
I can talk to Justin, but Justin's been in magazines. He
Yeah.
works for Yamaha. He does a lot of cool stuff. I wanted to see him on my way back from Clearwater, but he was in Tennessee doing, work because he does a lot of stuff for Yamaha. But
Well,
Yeah.
I know Tom wants to get with Chris, but we have some Chris Bodie doing our trumpet music now.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
anyway, that's fun. You were supplying those pianos. That's great.
But
yeah,
Yeah.
Yamaha brought 3 or 4 down right from Tennessee.
Four.
And then we picked one up from Piano Music Center down in Fort
Absolutely.
Lauderdale, Hollandale. Used theirs, and we put them on. And then 2 of those pianos we had to do for John Baptiste at the jazz. It was a jazz festival,
Festival
right in
down,
Miami.
yep.
Yeah.
So we had to take them down there.
Cape Coral, right?
Not Cape Coral.
The one
No.
Cape Coral. Oh.
Coral Gables.
No, it was south of Coral Gables, but
Somewhere down there.
yeah.
And then and you guys,
Coconut Grove.
There you go. Yep.
Then you guys had to pick them up after hours, 11:30 at night, which ended up being after midnight. Actually, by the time you were able to get there.
Yeah, this
Get it
past
in.
Sunday.
And sorry. And then we had Yamaha send us a 9-foot Yamaha to do work for an artist too. So it's been a crazy season.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're doing a lot of crazy stuff, not just with stair moves and craning pianos onto ships and things. And have you seen our flying piano video yet?
No.
You got to check it out. We were craning a piano onto a ship, and the way the wind took the piano, the pads were floating like it had a cape.
Like had a cape.
Oh.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
kinda cool.
really,
It
really
is.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
not the
It's a
video you
Steinway
showed
beat.
me either.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it
it's
is
that
a
one,
kid.
yep.
Was that for this festival?
No.
No,
That
no.
was for
That was Jazz
Holland?
Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Oh, no, that wasn't either.
was,
Okay.
That was the
Holland.
the brand new
Yeah, Steinway.
Steinway B.
Yeah,
that we
for
had
Holland.
had to do for Holland.
That's
American.
fun.
Cruise
Yeah,
ships
because
are
we're doing
running together.
we work for Princess, Holland, Seabourn, Royal. Who else? Pretty much.
And now more.
Yeah.
Starting to do a little with others.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So, but that one was. So the funny thing is that we were told it's a C7 that's coming off the ship. So okay, we're gonna crane that one off. We'll crane the other one on. Well, it was a C1. We're like, this fits in the elevator, no problem. So we go put it in the elevator. We bring it down. I think it was me and Tony and Trevor. We get it on for the forklift.
No, it was me and you.
Or it's me and you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we get it on to the out of the shell door for them to pick it up with the forklift, and we go walking, and we hear boom, and we're
Oh.
like, I said, Mike, they dropped the piano. So we go
We
walking
turned around
out.
and we looked at. Yep.
We walk out. We walk off the ship,
Oy.
and the piano's back upright because the forklift guy scraped right underneath the lid and lifted it up
Right
with the
back
fork.
up,
So we're
yeah.
like, okay, so.
Oh, what an ugly sound.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
It is.
Ugly
Yes,
sound.
it is.
I've seen enough fall off backs of trucks, and
I like the sound.
But it's
it makes an
it's
ugly
funny
sound.
because
Money, right? Because you got to fix it.
they
And
told
now that
us.
piano's coming to us.
Yeah, they told us
Yeah.
that piano's probably coming to y'all to be fixed anyway. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, but it is an ugly sound.
Yes,
It's like
absolutely.
like a cry from
Yes.
the piano. It's just like, oh, I'm hurt.
That yes.
You know.
Oh.
But from what we could tell, it didn't look. It's superficial.
Sounds like the end of Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah.
Tell because I
maybe
think
that
I
might
said
be
my
what that
back.
is.
That cacophony of
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing kind of the relationship between QRS and Story and Clark and how that fits together and who's who and the origins of all that. Because I know you guys go way back. Story and Clark does
right.
as well.
Well, there was Melville Clark
Melville Clark and
and John Story. I went to
we're
high
gonna get in
school
trouble
with
for
him.
not knowing this.
Edit this.
Edit.
You're asking too tough of questions.
Yeah. We should really know more about that.
Well,
but we
one of
have a
them was
book
involved
out.
with
Okay.
right now.
QRS.
Scratch that.
Yeah.
Do you have a 3X shirt? Maybe that's easier to answer. Right?
I can give you a 3X
Yes,
T-shirt.
We do.
I'll hook you up before I leave. You're gonna have to watch it though.
That's fine.
Well, we could have Brian tell the Hawaii history. We've got that, but
Well,
We'll
I
do
can
that.
tell
We'll
you
do
how
that at a
I can tell you
future.
how Story and Clark QRS and Pianomation when they came together.
Collaborated.
So our facility in Seneca was once Classic Role Player Piano Company. It was a local guy had a piano store, and when Universal was going out of business, he's like, I sell 4 of these a year in this little town, so there's got to be a call for these. So he grabbed some friends. They took it to a garage, ripped it apart, figured out we're going to build these. So he built what's our office now. They made one role playing grand, and it kind of went on, and it got popular. Baldwin said, "We're going to commission you to make," because we were buying the backs from Baldwin at the time. We'll commission you to make our 125th anniversary role player, because nobody was doing that. So from that order, I think they got 1,100 something ridiculous orders. So they were going to build 125 for the 125th anniversary. Well, that boomed. Well, then blew up, and the owner at the time decided he's going to make pianos himself. So he bought the name Story and Clark because it had gone defunct. And
then to answer your question a bit, we had the Hampton Story.
oh
right?
yeah,
And we had the Melville Clark. They were naming style names
after
the owners.
right. It,
And they wanted to, I think they stepped into player pianos kind of because it was a thing
well, Dick,
back then.
Dick,
before
all those guys.
No,
yeah.
I mean originally
right.
back then. You know what crushed the piano business in the 30s?
The phonograph.
Bicycle.
Oh, really?
A bicycle.
In certain areas,
Mhm.
the bicycle. Just everybody was
Wow.
Well,
First I've heard of that.
yeah, because
Wow.
nobody had them. I mean, that was a novel thing at
Yeah,
the time.
sure.
20s.
I got
guess,
a piano, but I don't have a bicycle.
Yeah. And then Victrolas, that
Right.
kind of did it.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that we've talked about.
there's a town in Pennsylvania. You've probably heard of the clothing, Woolrich.
Mm-hmm.
The little town of Woolrich, it was a factory town. There were about 300 houses. Every house had a piano.
Oh, wow.
And they have it noted in different museums and historical centers there that it's like the only town where every house had
Wow,
a
that's
piano
pretty
in
cool.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they probably have all
During
called us and said,
Depression and everything.
"What's this
it was
piano
there.
worth? I have an antique piano." I was like, if you know someone that needs a boat anchor, you might be able to get them to take it off your hands. I don't know. Yeah, they're very disappointed when they realize that
Yeah, that's always a tough
100-year-old
conversation.
piano is worth nothing. It's like
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
pay more to have it removed. Than,
Sentimental.
We always hear, what's this piano worth? Well, what'd you pay to move it?
right.
Well, and there's the big question that everybody asks: what does QRS mean? And nobody knows.
I know.
Oh, you do?
QRS stands for Quality, Reliability, and Service.
Oh, okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to
Okay,
it.
that's great. That's great.
The legend has it that they didn't have a name. They were trying to come up with one, and someone picked up the file and said, QRS, how about that? And I'm like,
Yeah, in the file cabinet, there was A, B, C, and lettered like that. And then the QRS was one file. So they
and it
went,
does roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
yeah. Then I heard Quincy, Rochester, Syracuse.
Oh, never
at
heard
one
that one.
point. So,
Quality, Reliability, and Service. That's where we're at now, right?
all right.
I thought it was quit riding scooters.
Yes, you're ruining the piano industry. Quit your...
I didn't know that was a thing that wasn't known about. I thought that it was been driving me nuts all week. I was going, what does it mean again? Because I could have sworn I had it on a T-shirt at one point and it said it.
Quality,
I guess not.
reliability, service.
Yeah, I guess so. No, I thought I was going quality research systems. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Anyway,
Quiet
TV.
rolling scrolls.
We can come up with a bunch of them.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Let us know what you all think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, let's have a poll.
Yeah, exactly.
What should it mean?
Name the acronym.
The winner of the contest gets a free quote on the new piano.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I hope you guys are enjoying your time down here.
Always do,
Oh,
Toby.
how can you not?
Toby arranged this weather for us.
Yes.
He says he knows I don't like it too hot, so he put it perfect.
Yep.
Very grateful.
And if it did get too hot, I put 16-foot fans out there for him. You know.
Have you seen the fans in the shop?
I have. Those would blow
put
up.
those up,
Those
Mike?
will blow
Mike
up your
put 'em up.
skirt.
He had me put them up for y'all. I mean, I'm just telling you. He goes, before they get here, can you put these fans up? And
No,
I said, absolutely.
I've
Don't
seen
worry
those
about it.
before. So
Well, that was before you got here.
yeah. True, it was before I got here. It might have been a year before I got here, but yes.
But yeah, it's always a blast when you guys are down here.
absolutely.
We
really
appreciate it. For
And next
sure.
time we do a class next year, we're gonna do one next year.
Why not?
We're going to do one
Absolutely.
later this year, aren't we?
We can do that too.
It's going to have to be in
Base
the
it
fall.
upon the demand, or
It's if
Yeah, kind of. We do.
I would like to get some students down here because there needs to be more young blood in this. So
I
absolutely.
agree, and you know,
FSU, right?
yeah. Well, FAU. is down
FAU,
here.
okay.
Yep,
No, but
FSU
you said
is-
FSU is where the one guy was supposed to.
Yeah, my buddy Lee.
You got FIU
He's
down
going to
here,
be
too.
coming one time to a class. We'll figure that out. And we should get Tom here. You know,
Tom needs to stop by once and
yep,
say hi.
the owner and see the shop. I've been asking him. numerous
Invite him
and
onto the
numerous times.
podcast because he can answer a lot of the questions that we were fumbling with.
Well, let's share this with him too, so we can get him on here and promote QRS. And that's what we like to do when we have guests on. Is it's not just Hamilton Happy Hour is not just about Hamilton Piano Company. It's about the companies that we work with, the people that we know. It's getting the stories out there that people need to hear. So and you guys got a ton more stories that I know we'll do again next year when you're here, or 6 months or whatever it is. But that's what this is all about. So I hope you guys had a great time.
I did, Toby. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
And
So-
just your reputation, you said it's not just about Hamilton. Tobias, if it's a competitor store, he's in the business of helping everyone. It's the good of the whole industry is kind of your approach, and I really respect that because some of these guys think it's like a war. I'm not going to go talk to that guy because of this. And Toby's like, I want everybody to get along and everybody to make money.
Wasn't there someone that wouldn't take the class because he didn't like us?
Maybe.
We've heard that, but
Well,
it's not in writing. So
but for me, it's you get so much more further cooperating than competing. I mean, we're here to help. We're not here to hurt anybody. I mean,
there's enough
it's-
out there for everybody.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's times that even one of the students, he's trying to start his own thing. I'm giving him advice.
yeah.
I'm sitting here. Hey, this is what I would do. This is what I did. I'm going to talk from experience. I'm not going to blow anything, blow sunshine up your ass. I'm going to tell you this is what worked for me and this is how I did it. You got to be dedicated to do it and put in the hard work.
It's not a part-time job.
Nope, it's not. It's not a hustle.
and what
No,
worked
it's
for
not a
you
hustle.
may not work for that person. So
Exactly.
You have to find your own groove.
And you have to find the right people to
Absolutely.
help you because there is no way I did this by myself. It is impossible.
Right.
You have to have the right staff. It's like one of the other students had said, "Oh, your payroll, because he sees how many people we have here." I said, "It's worth it.
Yeah.
It is 100% worth it because the people that are here, without them, this wouldn't happen." And what they do and what we go through and how hard we work and the family oriented business that we have and the friendship, and I mean, come on, we're doing podcasts too. It's worth it.
Right.
So if you want to have a good business with people that love to work at a place, you have to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just with a paycheck, but with your friendship.
Absolutely.
You know what
As
I mean?
I said, it's a family here. I can tell. Like I was here. They were having their morning meeting, and it's collaborative. He's not sitting there dictating. There are certain rules he will dictate, but it's like he wants their input, and it's pretty cool to see that you respect your employees that much.
Because for me, it's
He just does that in front of people.
Does he?
We need help. Please send help.
Link.
Send help.
Link.
SOS.
oh, wait till tomorrow, guys. But I mean, I'll give you a funny story. So on my way to Clearwater, I came up with an idea, right? And I
heard this.
I told you this one. And so basically, we were talking about, because I would have had to have looked at a stair move in Tampa, right? And so, we can use a template, which we can make the piano is a 5'10". We could have made a 6-foot cardboard piece by 18 inches. You have to have this part of it here to be able to know if it's going to fit in the hallway. So I came up with doing it out of PVC pipe, right? You can adjust it sideways with everything, and it doesn't take up hardly any time to build, and it doesn't take up any space. And he goes, no. And I said, just because of that, I'm going to build it anyway. But it's just something that the one time he uses it, he's going to be like, damn it. It's just one of those things, but it doesn't take up any room. It really doesn't. It's going to be a half-inch PVC with 3/4. It's adjustable this way, and this way. You can take it apart, and it's only going to be that big by 5 feet.
And just for the record, both of us said no.
Yeah, they both said no.
But I said, you can't run this leg through your bandsaw, and he said, yes, I can. So if you want Toby to do it, just tell him you can't, and he'll get it done.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
It's a puzzle. Everything's a puzzle. You just got to find a piece to put it where it needs to go.
And he's going to find the piece.
Well, that's what I love about him. That's why I haven't asked anyone else to help me with that yet. I'm like, I know the guy. I'm going to be there. We'll figure out how to get a pitman that doesn't fall out of that piano one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And that actually worked, and it works like a dream.
Yeah, and now it's something that you can incorporate at the factory, which, by the way, I love the QRS factory. I've been there a couple times. There's something nostalgic about it for me. I remember, so when Tony and I went up to do the zero profile class, we were done. And you were still teaching your class, and I was like, "Can I play with your tools? Can I go?" And you're like, "Yeah, you can go." So I still came back with all my fingers, and so I ended up making a tool for you and for Lainey to pull actions out.
I remember. Yeah, the little handles.
Yep. It took me 15, 20 minutes, but it was just fun. It was just, I'm using someone else's tools. I'm in this cool factory.
and
I'm
making
just like,
something, yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, do you guys got these hooks? Because I need these hooks to screw into this, to do this and this and this. But that part's cool. You know, when you're thinking outside the box and you're doing something that it doesn't take, it takes effort, but it's not like, it's going to take me a week to build this. I mean, 15, 20 minutes.
If that, yeah.
And now it's a tool that saves you from breaking hammers, pulling an action out, something so simple. I didn't come up with the idea. I saw that in a Piano Technicians Guild journal probably 15 years ago, because some brilliant technician came up with that. And I was like, oh, that's great. I think I
grabbed the pins on the side where the cheek blocks sit on.
Right. And I elaborated on it, because his was just, I think 2 dowels. And I made them T-handles, so you could grab it like this, and out you go, and you'll never break a hammer.
You made me dowels the first time when you did the 3D print. You made the T-handles,
right? I see.
Which is a lot easier to hold on to.
Yep, and it's just something simple, but it's the outside thinking of the box. That's why the PTG is so good to go to the conventions. I know you guys go because you're there, and I see you there, and we have a blast. But you're also learning something because you're talking to so many people, and
absolutely,
the ideas that people are coming up with are fantastic. I mean, they're really coming up with some excellent ideas out there, and it's great to see that, because if you're not, you're stalling, and then you plateau and you're done. But in my opinion, I've seen some really cool stuff going on. Cool. With there. But guys, thank you very much. This has been a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toby.
You're very welcome.
Fun.
We will, if anyone wants to know anything about QRS player systems, you go it's QRSmusic.com. You can visit their site. You can see what their player systems do, how it works, how it functions, all the cool electronics that they can do for you, and then we can install it for you, right?
Absolutely.
But thank you very much for being on, and we really appreciate it. And please follow us, our podcast at Hamilton Happy Hour, and every other social media platform that we are, and make sure you visit QRS.com. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Night.
Thanks, guys.